next episode of Projects with Petro, we're going to summarize this boat. We've already gone and winterized it. You saw that one, had a lot of comments and differences of opinion on how I did it. So I haven't pulled the cover off. I haven't checked the motor out. So we're going to see how we did on the whole thing. And definitely take a look at everybody's comments, because I think they had some good ideas and good tips. But I got a challenge for myself. I'm going to try to summarize this boat and get it ready for the water with my pocket knife. We'll see if we can do it. Got the cover off. It looks pretty good. I got some grungy stuff on the seats I can clean up, but overall, a quick vacuum and a quick wipe down on the seats. I got a tip for you to show what I use for the seats. This is an old boat. It's a 1998, so it's 23 years old, so it's never going to be perfect, but we can get it pretty clean. But let's take a look at some of the compartments. Nothing in there, so no mice or critters. Let's keep in mind it's New Hampshire, so it's been out of the water undercover for 8 months. That's pretty typical. So got some keys. That's good. We'll need those. Let's see what the engine looks like. Okay, it's still there. It's an engine. Oh, this cover is so heavy. Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is hook up that battery. So I cheated a little bit. This has already been under a trickle charge, so that helped me out a little bit. I usually recommend that if you're gonna store this for as long as we do, take the battery out, store it inside on a trickle charge. I didn't do that. I did disconnect the power, so I'm not following my own recommendation here, but this boat is simple. We've got literally 2 leads for the positive, and we've got 2 leads for the negative, and that's the only thing that hooks up to this battery. I am noticing that some things have fallen off here from vibration on the side of the motor, so that's one of the reasons why I like to winterize and summarize my boats myself, because I find those little things that I would have never known about. And maybe, you know, someone in a production shop facility, I cannot get that on there, come on, spin on, might not even, you know, see that. But the solenoid on this side, I don't know if you can see that. Great camera work. So this should actually be on here. I don't know why that's disconnected, and you can see there's a missing bolt here, and that solenoid is just sort of flopping around on that, so we'll take care of that. I just realized that I promised you guys I would do this all with my pocket knife, so let's see if I can do this. Let me get you in a better spot. Okay, I don't know if you guys can come and see this, but I'm going to take my pocket knife. I'm going to try to loosen up the nut on the solenoid. I really would like a ratchet. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I promised the pocket knife would prevail, but there it goes. I got it. Now, the next thing I have to do, if you remember in my video, when I winterize things, I take this off, and I had a lot of people that commented and said that was unnecessary and you don't need to get to the thermostat and all of that. It's a good thing that I did. The parts for the thermostat and the gasket are really, really inexpensive, and I found that the thermostat wasn't operating. It wasn't free. It was sort of fused in there, which doesn't surprise me, because when I was running the boat, it would get hot and it would shut down. Our lakes are really cool here. I mean, the lake temperature is usually low 70s, so it usually cools down pretty quick, but I think that thermostat wasn't popping, so with my pocket knife, I'm going to try to replace this thermostat. Okay guys, epic fail. I promised you I was going to try to do this with my pocket knife. I cannot get these off. So my promise of pocket knife only, not going to work. Because I'm just going to tear these sockets apart. So we're going to go get the right tools and we'll show you how to do that.
Go.
Alright, I had to get one wrench. Actually I got a couple, the basics. Maybe I can do this with a pocket knife and the 3 wrenches. But this thermostat has to come out. Alright, here we go. It's easy. It's easy. Here we go. Let's see if I can clean this off a little bit. This is the old one. Yeah, see? It's funny, this sealed itself back up from over the winter, and that gasket actually has a crack on it, so we're gonna have to clean this all up. This is typical of boats. It's gonna get into a little bit more of a project. I can't even get that gasket off of there, and it completely came off before, so we're gonna have to scrape it off and do what we can. See, there it comes up. Still antifreeze in there, that's a good side. But see, you see this? This is the old gasket that everybody said don't take apart, don't touch. Let me show you what a new one looks like. I said gasket, I meant thermostat. So I think it's time to change it. Had I not done that, we would have been stuck with something that I don't even know if it was working properly, and it's 25 bucks. So I think it's good measure to do this. So let me go ahead, and you don't have to watch this. I'll scrape this all off and get the new gasket on there. I actually promised I would do this with my pocket knife as much as possible. So I just wanted to show you that I am using my pocket knife to get this gasket off. Okay, we got that all cleaned off, that gasket. I could go crazy and get a little, you know, 1000 grit sandpaper and get it all off, but it's going to be just fine. So I got the new thermostat, very simple, drops in. The new gasket, very simple. Then we're going to put the thermostat housing back on. Also simple. And then we got the 2 nuts, or 2 bolts rather. So, and then we're just going to screw those in. All right, now let's check the oil. See how we're doing. Ooh, that does look black. I am going to change that, not today because I don't have the stuff, but yeesh, I will definitely change that oil in that filter this year, probably before I use it next weekend. It's on full, so we got plenty of oil. It's just black. Now the next thing that we'll do is hook up the water. The battery's hooked up. We got the new thermostat in. We'll hook up the hose to the outdrive, and then we've got to put the propeller on. And even before we do that, we can probably start it. We'll see. One thing I do want to do, I'm starting this in my driveway, so it's not super critical. There's antifreeze in this block, right? So if you're gonna go, you want to start this before you put it in the lake or the water. It's supposed to be biodegradable at this point, but still just good measure to not do it. You can pull the plugs and drain it out manually like I did. I'm not going to do that. I'm in my driveway, so I'm just going to hook the hose up, get it started up, and let everything come out of the bottom of the motor. Before I started it out, I figured I'll put the prop on. Okay, so we had a big win. So this is the original washer, prop washer, that was from the old Propeller. And I couldn't get it off. I actually changed the old propeller off in the on the boat ramp, so I did put some chain lube on this over the winter, and it allowed me to break it off. So I'll just show you quickly. I know this is kind of stupid, but just show you how this prop goes together. You can see that that was fused on there, so it's just good to take this apart, because if you ever need to take this sucker apart and you haven't done this once every year, you do not want to fight with a prop that won't come off. So now we're going to put the new prop nut on. washer. Boom. That fits nice and nice. Okay. Then inside of this propeller, you can't see it, but there's actually a little plastic sleeve that goes in there first. I got it jammed in there pretty good. And then we do here. Wait a second. I forgot. I'm missing the collar. So the collar goes in there. Okay. Then we put this in here. Alright. Very simple. This goes on. Actually, I'll use the one that came with it. Whichever. This goes on next, like that. That one is the old one, so let's take that one off. This one, I believe, locks in. Put that in like that, yeah. That looks good. Then the nut goes on. Let's put a little bit more goopy goop on that nut. Now they make a really nice little slick prop wrench. Of course I don't have one. So I'm gonna bang it up and use this. Okay, we've got the, I call them Mickey Mouse ears. I don't know what I should call them. But it's hooked up to the hose, goes over the intake on the lower unit. That allows you to get water to keep the engine cool. Let's see if it starts. All right, this is no starter fluid or anything. You can sort of help yourself along, but you know what? I might as well run through the sequence if you're a lot of people got into boats this year, so I'm just going to run through the quick sequence of how to start these motors. Even the new ones are very similar. So first thing you always want to do is put the blower on. You can hear that. With an inboard engine especially, the fumes from the gas can get caught up in there, and if there's a spark, you could have a pretty serious explosion. So whenever you're on the boat, outboard's a little less of a concern, but any sort of an inboard, outboard, run the blower for a couple minutes before you do it. Not super critical here because obviously we have it opened up. So I've got the key. We've got power. The power looks a little low, just reading about 12 volts. So on this one, there is actually, I should show you, this is a good idea too. Every boat has a kill switch. So it goes right here. You'll see it on every boat. Even on the outboards, it has one. If that is off and you're not getting any sort of clicking or anything, you think the boat's dead, it's probably because you don't have this kill switch on there. You could just cheat the system and just do that, but it's good to have this on. The idea is when you're running and you hit a wave or something, it'll pull down and it'll be a kill switch for the engine. So make sure that's on. So we've got that on. This particular boat, this is an old unit, but the new ones are the same way. You push this button in, and that allows it to increase the throttle without being engaged. So let's do that. All right, let's see how it starts. Rough starting here. Let's see how it does. I'm pumping the throttle a little bit. There's no gas in it, so it might be. Alright, it started. First time in 8 months. Now, what I'm doing, we winterized it. Let's just take a look and see if there's any water pouring out. There's none. So the winterizing, I would say, before I say that, yeah, perfect success. For the winterizing, it's running pretty smooth. I'm on dead stop idle here, so that's actually not that bad. A little rough, but it's actually not that bad considering it hasn't run in 8 months. That's pretty much all there is. Now I will go and change the oil because it looks filthy. That's pretty much it, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go in the water.